I wasn't originally going to make a video about this, but a good friend of mine did, and after discussing our feelings on it before the new tweet came out, now that it is out, I have some thoughts. First thing I want to say is that I was always on the side of innocent till proven guilty, especially in this matter. You have probably seen me in countless comment sections coming up with scenarios for why Dr. Disrespect worded his initial tweet like he did, as I was against labeling him a pedophile until real evidence actually came to light. Even now with his latest response, I still hold that opinion. I'm not a fan of tarnishing someone's character over mere allegations with no known evidence to back them up. We're quick to cancel, and as we saw with Johnny Depp v Amber Heard situation, acting in haste can cause irreparable damage that would otherwise have been avoided. That being said, let's talk about the situation. Former Twitch employees threatened to reveal the reason that the dog was banned from Twitch, with one trying to use that information to sell tickets and promote his band in the process by restricting access to the information behind selling tickets to his shows. Absolutely disgusting behavior that shouldn't be ignored. Gatekeeping information that could potentially protect kids in the future by revealing actions that allegedly harmed one just to get his greedy little paws on more money cements him as anything but a hero. Don't get it twisted. Due to the pressure from Cody, Dr. D made a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, which is what I'll call it from here on out. I'm more comfortable that way. Anyway, his tweet says, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can since this is the effing internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled. Nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid." This statement ended up doing far more harm than good due to the way that it was worded, laced with legal speak. He never outright denies messaging with a minor, just states that he never did anything legally wrong, which could be a way of skirting around the situation based on a technicality. That being said, as I said in comments and discussions after this statement was released, the legal speak could also be due to him being careful not to break a legally binding contract like a non-disclosure agreement. When he settled with Twitch, one could have been signed with its rules and stipulations, something that we as outsiders would have no idea about. At this point, all we had was broad he said she said, so people started to take sides, those that wanted to wait for more proof, those that stood with him regardless of the truth, and those that want to bury him before said truth can even come out. Three different fronts laced with emotion getting very heated with one another. Some were purely in it for political reasons, some were biased fans that didn't want to face that kind of betrayal from the man that they grew to love, some were friends of his that felt the same way as those fans, and some were outsiders with no skin in the game but wanted to take a side anyway. The situation caused its own little war, where people were willing to attack their own friends over which side that they took. The court of law no longer applied. The doctor was at the mercy of the court of public opinion. So soon after, he announced that he was taking a break from streaming and going on a vacation that could potentially also have been his retirement. This was announced by Dr. D on stream after his statement on Twitter once the initial backlash started to hit.
But I think the first and foremost, though, is I did have a sort of a planned vacation coming up, and I think I might just extend that starting now. Let's take a step back. I think when I say step away, I'm gonna have to relay this to the Midnight Society, but maybe I step away from there too. Just completely remove myself from the scene. It's what I need to do.
After this, most of us expected radio silence, until the truth eventually came to light, whatever it may be. I held out hope for the best, wanting to believe the man that made me laugh countless times and has recently stood up for the well-being of children wouldn't jeopardize said well-being himself. Then, as I was discussing with my friend Anthony about the situation, I'll link his channel in the description, Dr. D's tweet dropped that caused my heart to drop as well. It reads, "Hello, I'd like to make a quick quick statement. As you know, there's no filter with me. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I. What he's referring to now is it looked like they dropped him once they did their own internal investigation, but the way they worded it made it seem like they just talked to people and came to the conclusion because of word of mouth. It was just bad wording. I'm hoping they did better than that, because it's pretty goofy if they didn't. Anyway, back to the tweet. We made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families that I never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can now tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect and I'll own it. This was stupid. Now, with all that said, don't get it mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I'm no predator or pedophile. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me knows where I stand on those things and those types of people. Then he apologizes to his community, his friends, and those he works with, ending it with, "Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of crap, that's fine. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders." Before I get into what was said here, there is something kinda sus that I gotta point out first. This homie literally edited the word minor out of his response at one point, and after justified backlash, edited it back in. This was an extremely telling move. In the same statement where he says he's upfront and real, he takes very important words out of it, ones that change the severity of the situation entirely. This was super manipulative, attempting to control the narrative by omitting such an important fact. This editing is not an admission that things were sexual in nature within the messages sent, but it's enough to prove that Doc knows said actions were wrong and how they would be perceived. Kinda sus, not gonna lie. The wording of "I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted" is also a bit telling. Whatever it is that occurred had the potential of setting a bad precedent and shifting the culture of the game development studio just by him being a part of it without major repercussions such as stepping down. But it's what he says next and how he says it that has caused the most waves. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened, no pictures were shared, no crimes were committed, I never even met the individual. Okay, so there's a lot to say about this. First, Twitch whispers are supposed to be private as far as I'm aware, so Twitch reading them is a little problematic in terms of trust on their platform. But the little thing of them never bringing this matter up, allowing Doc to continue to communicate in messages and interact with minors, can be the end of the platform if the chat logs do come out and reveal reveal the messages to be sexual in nature with someone that was openly a minor. Dr. Disrespect never saying that he didn't know that they were a minor is a big red flag as well. Twitch doesn't display age as far as I'm aware, so him having no knowledge of the person's age would be a reasonable defense. If the messages were flirtatious, then it doesn't excuse, cheating on your wife, especially when you have a family that loves you and when you've done so previously, but it would make things a little better if he wasn't aware of their age. Yet, from what we know, it's safe to assume that he knew. Even if he didn't, I do want to stress that it's still no justification, and that someone with a large child audience shouldn't have been so careless to begin with. He has a responsibility to act in a way that would be appropriate when speaking to his audience, not only because of the influence he has in the content creator space, but also for the safety and well-being of his fans. The act of messaging this person, this minor, was gross negligence on his part, and he should have and had to have known better at the end of the day. Him saying there were no real intentions is wild though. Not only does it sound straight out of an episode with Chris Hansen, now it's also safe to assume that whatever was said was flirtatious in nature at least, because he felt the need to come out ahead of it and say there were no intentions of it progressing further, which he reiterates as he says they never met up in person later in his response. It makes me a little nervous of if these chats were never brought to light to Twitch, if he was never caught, if it would have went further, if pictures would have been sent, if they would have met up. This is all what if, however, and since we don't know what the chat logs actually said, pure speculation as we fill in the blanks. What he deems as inappropriate could have been as far as jokes that weren't okay with the age demographic. It could have been sharing violent or graphic content in some way. It's hard to say for sure, since what I would think of when I used the term and what Twitch would think of and what Dr. Disrespect would think of could be three totally different definitions or scenarios. So because of that, until the chat logs are released, I'm not going to immediately brand the man as a pedophile. That being said, given what we know about the situation, I wouldn't hesitate to label him a creep that we should at least be wary of. The vagueness of every response doesn't help him or the people involved, so the best we can do is wait. Wait for more allegations to come to light, for the chat logs to be leaked, and for the truth to be revealed. Regardless of what said truth actually is, his irresponsibility when messaging with minors online, no matter what was said, shouldn't be forgotten. He has a huge platform, a lot of success, and he should have handled that with a lot more respect and intelligence. The case not being criminal and Twitch not outing him as a pedo and becoming heroes in this story leaves reasonable doubt of how bad things may have truly been. I can't blame people for continuing to support him out of belief that it's all being blown out of proportion, and I truly hope that they are right, but the fact of the matter still remains. Something was said, and whatever it was enough that he felt it necessary to go on vacation and issue a vaguely worded apology, one that had the word minor edited out. He admitted to being morally wrong, made sure to say as a husband and a father he should have done better, yet again making it seem as if he was flirting with said minor. Yes, it's been years since it's happened, but also years since he seemingly got away with it. It's easy to speculate that he could have been emboldened by that fact. Once this story unfolds more, I'll try to keep you all updated. I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst, and whatever gets found out, I pray that the consequences for his actions come swiftly and justly. I'm not the deciding factor on if a man is innocent or guilty, nor to what degree that he is, but I can say without a shadow of a doubt that he is guilty of something involving a minor, and only time will tell what that something is. Although I can respect him for taking accountability, this may be the fall of Dr. Disrespect and the beginning of Dr. Diddlespect. Have a great day. Thank you.